So going back to your book.
Yeah.
So talking about how the idea of monogamy rose along with agriculture, you talk about how a big reason for that is the question of parentage. Because with agriculture came the idea of owning property and actually passing down property to your next of kin. And so then you wanted to be absolutely sure that who you were passing your property down to was actually your child, when as before in the hunter and gathering days, when people didn't really own property, they didn't own things, everything was shared as a community, the raising of children was shared as a community. And so the idea of who your father was didn't matter. And you even talked about how, some isolated tribes that anthropologists went and studied, they would ask them, who is your father? And they would say, these are all my fathers. We are like, there was a sense of just the entire community was a family as opposed to these isolated groups. And I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. And there are so many different ways of tracing lineage. And in most hunter-gatherer groups, biological parentage is not really even a concept.
Right.
They're clan membership. So you could be part of the same tribe and even in the same band, right, who spend most of their time traveling together. But, if I'm born into the otter clan and you're in the otter clan, then we're considered to be more closely related than someone who's in the bear clan, right? And this idea of DNA and, genetic packages and all that isn't really an issue. And, sort of extrapolating out of evolutionary theory, it's been assumed that it has always been an issue that, because a lot of species, there is a lot of competition between males and mate guarding behavior and, fights to the death in some species. And so it's sort of been assumed that was also intrinsic to human evolution. But when you actually look at the way hunter-gatherers behave and their belief systems in light of also primatological research, bonobos and chimpanzees particularly that are very closely related to us, and you look at our bodies and the story that our bodies tell about our ancestors' sexual behavior, it all becomes pretty clear that we are not a species where the males fight each other and the winner has access to the females, like with gorillas.
Because gorillas have small penises.
That's it. You can see by the size of our penis, the size of our testicles, the fact that the testicles are outside our bodies, the size of the males relative to the females, body dimorphism. You can see it also in the fact that we're highly social. Gorillas and other harem breeding primates don't live in complex social groups with multiple males in the same group. And it makes sense because they'd all be fighting all the time, right?
Right.
So there are over 300 species of primates. Scientists differ on what constitutes a species. So there's no exact number right now, but of those, many live in complex social groups. And there is not a single primate that lives in a complex social group that is a harem-based or monogamous. So it seems if you just have a sort of a cursory understanding of biology, it can seem like, men fight over women and males fight over females. That's just the way it is. I saw it on Blue Planet, But if you actually look at primates, particularly highly intelligent social primates, or dolphins are another example, there are very few animals that have sex for non-reproductive reasons. Most animals only have sex when the female's ovulating, and it's just a few times a year, and the chances of pregnancy are very high. Humans, bonobos, chimps, and dolphins are the exceptions, and they're all highly social, highly intelligent. Right. So we all use sex for social reasons, not primarily for reproductive reasons.
Right. And so, you were talking about how with bonobos, how with their enlarged penis and their larger testes, that it seems like the fight for insemination actually occurs within the body. Right. As opposed to outside of the body with gorillas, which is why gorillas are so much bigger.
Right,
the males are so much bigger than the women. And I think you also talked too about how when men come, they give off like 2 to 8 spurts.
Right.
And so I think you said something about the first spurt kind of coats the walls, and then like the kamikaze sperm.
Well,
because like, is there some kind of
that's
like
Baker? Yeah, I think Robin Baker was his name, who sort of went and ran with that with the kamikaze, and he sort of saw sperm cells as like a rugby team with blockers and runners and all this stuff. I don't think that's been scientifically validated.
Sounds really interesting though.
But what you're referring to that we do go there in the book is there is a lot of research showing that the first spurt in an ejaculation has a chemical that is corrosive to any pre-existing sperm.
Got it. Okay,
right?
That makes sense.
If the second guy is coming, his sperm will attack any sperm that it finds already in the woman's reproductive tract, and then the middle spurts are his most viable sperm cells, and then the last spurt is a protective chemical that's sort of anticipating the first spurt from the next guy.
That's so interesting.
So there's evolutionary evidence of multiple insemination. Yeah.
And then that led you to, and this is where I ended, and I got really excited about this part, about the science behind why we like gangbang porn so much.
Well, it seems to align with the notion that we evolved in the context of multi-male, multi-female mating, which is the sort of technical scientific word for it. But if you think it's weird, if you think, okay, totally straight, and I think sexual orientation is on a spectrum, of course, and but if straight men, why would straight men want to watch 3 dudes and 1 woman? Right? Like, it doesn't make sense. If you're into women's bodies, you would think, if you're a straight guy, you'd want to watch 3 women and 1 guy, or
that is the question,
or no guy.
That has been raised by a lot of my male friends that don't like gangbang porn. They're like, why would I want to watch all that dick? And I actually love gangbang porn. I don't shoot it, but I like to watch it, and I love all the dick. But I assume that's just because I'm a woman, because I'm like, the more the better. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode, and go check out all the other videos. I film every single one of my podcasts. And if you want to listen to the audio version, I'm on iTunes and all the other podcast platforms. Visit hollyrandallunfiltered.com to find out more.